All right. So this is how I would make 10 grand a month ASAP if I had to start from $0 from scratch again. First off, getting this right out of the way. I have nothing to sell you in this video, no links, no stuff like that. Just wanted to square that away right away. This has been responsible for building most of my wealth and cash flow. And that's exactly why I'm so, call it passion, call it whatever, on just getting that across, getting that message across to other people. That vehicle is sales. Okay. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Sales is literally everything, right? Everyone is a salesperson, even if you don't know it, right? Think back to when you were a kid. You sold your parents as to why you should be allowed to play with a friend at 10 o'clock on a weeknight. You sold your teachers as to why you didn't finish the homework and you need an extra day to finish it, right? Like I know this sounds cheesy, but you sold your friends, your buddies on why you should play video games that night. Like there's just so many different things you did as a kid. You may even still do to this day. Think of I don't know, job interviews, right? As an example, right? You've been selling your whole life and you probably don't even realize it. So I just want you to slowly start thinking that way because it's so damn important. Okay. Step one, I think for me at least, was just understanding why sales is so important. It's like you see this flashy lifestyle. It's like, awesome. This is great. But like, why? What even is sales? Sometimes I didn't even understand that. So just a little bit of context, right? Building off that topic that sales is everything, it's even more than that, right? It's confidence. It can help you drastically within your personal life with women or different relationships, but it can also get you out of rough situations, right? Negotiating with people, finding solutions verbally, like just coming to amends, like all these different things. If you know how to sell, think of an extreme example that I think of is cops. Cops would be extremely good salespeople. I'm a big like those police watch academy channels or whatever when they're clearly dealing with criminals and people who are clearly guilty and they get it to admit it. It's like, man, I want to like this guy because he is so personable and he knows exactly what he's doing, right? That's why, right? Sales is just conveying a message. And if you ever want to own a business or officially actually start your own thing, you're going to need to know how to sell. No questions asked, period. Right? It doesn't even matter if it's a product or service, or even if you want to learn another skill, right? Like marketing or paid ads, copywriting, software development, web design, whatever, you're going to need to understand how to sell said thing to said customer. So you may as well just learn it as soon as possible, right? And you may not naturally start to want to learn it. Great. This is, exactly is what is for you. So speaking outside of this, sales is literally a company's oxygen. It is literally blood flow to a company. That's why they are willing to pay such extremely high dollar amounts to find someone or people to do it properly for them. This is why huge corporations think of HubSpot, Salesforce, huge CRM companies like enterprise software and IT services. They have hundreds of SDRs and corporate account executives to close deals for them because they realize how much value there really is. Now, within those corporations, there's so much competition that you're not really making that much. I mean, you are, but on the low level as a junior, you're really not making that much. That's why, I'm going to show you some different roles on how you can make much, much more. Sales requires time, energy, persuasion. It is a grind, right? But by filling this gap for these companies, they're willing to pay very, very handsomely. Okay. So I just want you to think of that in the background. Now, what actually is sales? Okay, great. Now I understand why it's important. What is the actual, meaning of sales? It's very simple. I've already obviously searched up a furthermore Google Doc, but in my definition, my kind of opinion is that someone, either a business or consumer, with a problem that your product or service could solve, that they would be willing to pay you X amount of dollars to fix. It's literally that simple, right? And different problems have different amounts that you can sell for, depending on the severity. If it's a status, right? If they want to look cooler, that means they probably need more money, which means you're selling them a business opportunity, way to get more leads for their business, or way to improve systems so that they can be more efficient and make more money. It's all these different things. Some people want to save time, and time is money to these people. So they're willing to pay you a crap ton of money to fix that solution, right? Now that's the best part of this is why I'm talking about sales in general, is because you don't have to worry about setting up your own corporation. You don't have to build the product yourself. You don't have to start the business yourself. You're just selling another person's business. If you feel confident enough to start a service-based business, which is how I created most of my wealth, by all means, go for it. But it took me years to learn how to sell under someone else's wing and then finally, spread my wings and go out and do my own thing. So that'll be another video. I'll talk about that. But this fills a human desire. And this is why I like high ticket business services, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's exactly what this is in a nutshell. Now, step 3, once you actually have this, you're finding a company and offer to work in. That's great. You need to get your reps in as soon as humanly possible. I didn't write it here, but Listen, I'm all for podcasts. I'm all for books. I'm all for coaching and mirroring and listening and all that. But the absolute best way, even though it's the most nerve wracking and it made me crap my pants when I was 19 when I first started in sales, is you got to get on the phones and you got to speak to people. You got to get your reps and you have to understand the actual communicating of sales, and you have to dial tens of thousands of leads to get a couple hundred conversations to turn those into meetings, right? That's all they're trying to do. That's all I was trying to do. And that's when I finally started getting good, is when I just said, screw it. I threw myself in the fire and I started doing that, right? So this is where it gets interesting, right? You want to find a good company. Try to stay away from the one-man shows, right? The guy who just needs some help with his leads, and it never really works out. They typically don't have enough lead flow to keep you busy. Some solopreneurs, may. I'm thinking of a guy like, call it Justin Welsh. Search him up. He runs a huge kind of solo business. I don't even know if he uses closers. I think all his content closes people for him. So, that kind of thing. But the sweet spot is an offer a company that is doing minimum. I was going to put 100 here, but cut some slack at borderline minimum 75 to 500 grand a month. They have proven traction. They have proven lead flow. They've got tons of leads coming in per month, and they either need to keep you busy as a setter or a closer with those leads, right? That's going to allow you to get enough traction, them to make it worth it, and everyone's kind of happy from there. So if better, this is a bonus, you want to get someone that you can ideally get coached under or learn from. So do your reps on this side, but then also learn from them on this side, right? So maybe they shadow you, they are, helping you with calls, all these types of things. Like, that's awesome, right? They want to, just help you. At the end of the day, it's their win too. So that's something that is super important. Have them throw you some older or stale leads just so you can get dials in. Be like, I don't care if these people registered on your website 3 years ago. Let me call them. Let me try to re-engage and re-nurture and just see what I could do there. You need to understand your metrics and start tracking this for your own sake once you actually start making calls, right? And this is dead simple. It's like, how many calls do I need to make per lead, or I guess per each lead? How many of those leads will pick up? How many of those pickups will lead to meetings or appointments? How many of those appointments will lead to closes? Like, it's just math, right? That's the exciting part, is this is all a numbers game. And that's all it comes down to. And if you're a setter rather than a closer, which is actually what I recommend for beginners, this would look way different, because all you're doing is setting appointments. And most of that happens either in like Instagram DMs or, I don't know, Instagram DMs, email, texting. Like, this is dead simple stuff. Or sometimes calling. The best converter, in my opinion, is calling. Get people on the phone, call them accordingly, and then kind of go from there. But it's that simple, guys. So companies to work for, I'll show some here on Upwork, but personal brands are great that have a few team members that have really strong lead flow. You could go the super high tech corporation route, but they really want people with 1 to 2 years sales experience minimum. So I would get gritty. I would go after people with a strong personal brand. They're selling a high ticket coach or consulting product, and you can help them close more deals on a no risk basis to them. Extra side bonus, if they are willing to pay a base salary, take it. That's huge. You are literally getting paid to learn at that point. Okay. So, anyways, step 3, this is the juicy part. This is what I looked at every single goddamn morning when I was doing this, was the math of your commissions, or basically how much money you're going to make. And I've, placed this out pretty much as simply as I possibly could. I've got conservative for appointment setter, and I've got ideal, and then I've got conservative for a closing role, actually closing deals, and then ideal on the closing role. So conservative or low end, 5% commission on a $2,000 offer means you're making $100 per meeting set. Okay. You need 4 of those, 4 to hit 10 grand a month. This is why lead flow is so important. The more humans, the more people coming through that pipeline, the more better chances that you're going to hit the odds, right? That you're going to hit the green and you'll be profitable from there. This is ideal though, right? So a more beginner would take an offer like this where it's cheaper price. 2 grand offer is still not bad, but we want to be hitting numbers, right? We want to hit a minimum of $5,000 to $10,000 offers from the businesses that we work for. Okay. So if the company you're looking to work for only sells $500 products, this won't work. If they're only selling $1,000 products, this won't work. They're literally not charging enough for you to make impactful enough money. Okay. So just keep that in mind. The ideal is 5% commission on a $5,000 offer, and you're getting $250 per meeting set. That means you only need 2 to hit 10 grand a month. I think this is assuming I'm just trying to remember when I did this math. This is assuming a 25-day work month, I believe, or 24, something like that. I may be off 1 or 2 days, but this is assuming 1 day off. Okay. Or 1 day off per week. Now, this is the closing roll math. This is where it got juicy for me. Conservative low end, 10% commission on a $2,000 offer means you make $200 per close. You need only 2 of those per day to hit 10 grand a month. The ideal is 10% commission on a $5,000 offer means you make $500 per close. You need only 1 of those per day to hit 10 grand a month. The best thing with the closing roll math is, yes, you are way more responsible and have way higher expectations than that of an appointment setter. But the big pro here, you are literally getting warm people who have agreed to a meeting on your calendar. You are literally walking into every single day with meetings on your calendar. All you got to do is meet them and close them. And chances are, if the company that you work for is good enough, these leads are already warm. They already know the brand. They already know these types of things, right? So it's really dead simple from there. To end off, before I show you some, actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go over these points first. Again, just touching on what sales actually is. It's very simple. Like, this is all the boring stuff: identifying potential customers' needs, understanding customers' needs. This is why, your end goal as an appointment setter is more important, because you're not scavenging, you're not cold calling them, and you kind of are if you really want to. But for the most part, these people already know what they're getting with you, right? So that's a good thing. It's literally just the exchange of goods or services for money. I love how the AI overview kind of has this, but that's all it is. It's very dead simple. There's a lot of persuasion involved for sure. There's a lot of good communication skills involved. You do have to be sharp. You need to be, on your game. But if you can be, and this is just a matter of getting your reps in, it becomes a system. It becomes like, it's the same thing. It's the same conversation over and over and over again, right? And going into that, you literally just type in, as an example, this is not counting for Instagram outreach. I would personally do Instagram outreach, but if I just needed money tomorrow, I would get my ass on Upwork and I would look at these postings. So we got this one, 5,000 fixed price, looking at partner. It sounds like he's only, working on a referral basis. So he's trying to get leads, which I wouldn't do. 2 closers. This is genius. One junior, one senior. Looking to earn, track record of dealing with social media programs and services. Bingo. This is exactly right. He probably purposely didn't put the price here, but he's probably willing to pay a very nice, juicy amount. $400. This one looks really interesting. $400 fixed price. Find a client. Okay. There was one here that was like solid. This is what I want you to look at. This is juicy and perfect, and I would do whatever the hell it took to get in front of this guy. Make 150 to 200 cold calls daily, conduct 4 to 5 Zoom calls daily, maintain CRM records, 34 deals per month. That's fair enough. That sounds pretty normal. Base salary, $2,000 a month. So it's not commission only. That's perfect for beginners. Commission only, or commission 50% per closed deal, earning potential 8 to 10 grand per month. Submit your resume as long as they've got enough leads in there. That's pretty dead simple. It sounds like they're kind of wanting cold calls, which is fair, but I would have this as supplementary, that if they already had leads coming in, that would be more ideal. But look at this. It looks like they're selling realtor packages, which is kind of cool. So that's interesting. But chances are, point is, there's deals out there, right? There are companies out there, ways that you can make money. This is great. Google Ads marketing agency. These are high ticket programs that businesses are willing to pay you a very fat commission check to do for them. Okay. So anyways, not to ramble on too much, I might leave some resources. I'm a huge fan of 2 people in this space, Alex Hormozi, Cole Gordon. They have taught me so much about sales, and it's just the really good resources to learn from. So if you want those, search them up on YouTube. To end off, sales is how I built majority of my net worth, my wealth. I make, with the agency that I own now, we're doing 50 to 60 grand a month in revenue total. We'll continue to hopefully multiply that. And this just built a ton of cash flow coming into my life that now, you live a better life when you got more money coming in, but you can save more, you can invest more, you can take care of your family, all these types of things. That's why I like sales. Okay. Sales equals freedom. And when you know how to sell, you could place me anywhere in the world with an internet connection and a laptop or a phone, and I will make every penny back. Right. That's how much confidence sales has given me over the last couple of years. So 10 to 15 grand a month minimum, life begins to get easier. The quicker you get to this point, the better. So as always, if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. I want to see you win. Thank you so much. Subscribe for more videos like this, and leave a comment below with what you want to sell eventually. Thank you.